Welcome and thank you for joining. In this lesson, we'll explore multiplication and division in rational expressions. Now, the goal of this learning is to learn how to multiply them and obviously write the answer in the most simplified form. And I keep repeating this. To simplify means to divide all the common factors that are present to both numerator and denominator. Now remember that to multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators together and then denominators together, right? And here is a short little example. So for example, if you have 3 over 4, you're multiplying it by 5 over 7, then you'll multiply 3 by 5 and 4 by 7. And that would be 15, let's say, over 28, and that would be the answer. Now, when you multiply rational expressions, you basically do the same thing. So you multiply the numerators together and denominators together. I'm just going to copy and paste this one here because it's basically the same thing. Now, obviously, because rational expressions are not mere numbers, then we have to treat them a little bit differently, and that's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. So, when multiplying rational expressions, step number 1 will always be to factor completely everything. And this is the same as in simplifying any rational expression. That's the same thing we did in the previous lesson. Now, once you have factored everything, then you state the restrictions. So why do we want to state the restrictions after? Because when in factored form, it's easier to solve for x that is not, that can make denominator 0. And then you can simplify. So let's go over some examples so that we can actually explain it with real terms and real expressions. So what we have in here is a rational expression, 3x cubed over 2y squared multiplied by the rational expression 10y squared over 9x squared. So you're multiplying numerators together, denominators together, and notice that here we have monomials everywhere, which means that there is nothing that we need to factor here, really. So 3x, and I'm going to show the steps in here again. So 3x cubed is multiplying 10y squared, and 2y squared is multiplied 9x squared. Okay. Now, if you're thinking of simplifying, hold your thoughts. We're not there yet. Don't simplify yet. So we're going to rewrite the expression in the numerator in a more simplified form. So numbers will multiply each other. The 3 and the 10 will give a 30. And then we have x cubed and y squared. And then we have 2 and 9 together, 18. And then we have x squared and y squared. And obviously you want to put the variables in the same order so it's easier for us to understand what to simplify with what. And once you have multiplied numerators and denominators, it's time for restrictions. Remember, restrictions are applicable to denominator only. And what we have in here is 3 factors, 18, which is a constant. That is not a dangerous term. Doesn't make denominator 0. X squared, that can make the denominator 0 if x squared equals 0. And y squared also has to be different than 0, which means y different than 0. And that's going to be these are going to be the restrictions. Once you state your restrictions, feel free to start chopping here. And I'm going to start with 30 and 18. 30 and 18 were reduced to, I see they have a common factor of 6. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Now, x squared will simplify, x cubed and x squared simplify to x to the power of 1. And y squared divided by y squared will divide to 1. So there is nothing really left out there. And the most simplified form is basically what you see. So 5x over 3. But keep in mind, don't let x be 0. Don't let y be 0. And voila. The next question is for you to try. And I'm going to try to do this a little bit faster. So multiply 14 by negative 5. That will make a negative 70. X 4, y 4. Denominator 3 times 6, 18. X 2, y 7. Before simplifying, state the restrictions. X different than 0, y different than 0. Now we can start simplifying. We have 70 and 18. Well, they're definitely divisible by 2 because they're both even numbers. So that will give a negative 35 in the numerator and a 9 in the denominator. Now x4 and x2 will give an x squared, and y4 and y7 will give a y to the power 3 in the denominator, okay? And that would be the simplified expression. And we're going to say that x shouldn't be 0 and y also shouldn't be 0. And that's the final answer. Now, we're going to take a look at some more multiplications. So here we go. Our next example, we have the multiplication of this rational expression with this. Here we have polynomial, a trinomial, more precisely, and here we have binomials. Step 1, always factor everything. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and we'll continue this lesson next time in the next video. Bye for now.